Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another video. My name is Abigail May. If you guys are new here, I did see a few new subscribers, which is really awesome. But hi, I'm Abigail May. I am 22 years old. I just had my first son, my first child, about 7-8 weeks ago now. Actually, by the time this video goes up, it'll be 8 weeks, which is insane. And yeah, and I just kind of share my life. It's not perfect, and it's definitely not perfect. But yeah, the reason why I'm talking super quiet right now is because it is currently 5 in the morning, and my newborn and my husband are sleeping right now, and we live in an apartment, so they're literally like a door away. So I'm just trying to be a little bit quiet, so I apologize for that. But I just kind of wanted to do a catch-up video and talk about the last 8 weeks postpartum and the last 8 weeks of having a newborn, some of the struggles that I've had, some of the things that I'm working through, and how the transition's been, and all of that stuff. But yeah, so grab your cup of coffee or whatever you prefer to drink. I'm drinking a oat milk latte that I made in this cute cup that says Barely Awake. I found it at Kroger and I thought it was super cute. But yeah, let's chat. Also, I want to apologize for the lighting. I'm trying to keep it moody and calm in here. But yeah, so the last 8 weeks, how have they been? Well, let me tell you, it has been a roller coaster. Also, I have eye patches on because, I don't know, it just makes me feel better about waking up early and the lack of sleep. But it's just been crazy. Honestly, I can't believe it's already been 2 months since having my son and bringing him home from the hospital and all of that stuff. Like, it's just insane. The first 2 weeks bringing him home honestly was really smooth sailing. Like, yes, we had to get up every 2 to 3 hours to feed him and all that, but to me, like, that was easy. And it's so true what they say about the newborn bliss phase. I didn't know what that was, and the first 2 weeks of bringing him home, I was like, oh, this is great. He eats, he sleeps, like, it's easy to put him to sleep. Like, he just goes right to sleep. This is amazing. And then, like, week 3 hit, and week 3, he, like, woke up. Like, he was no longer, like, easy to fall asleep, all those things. And so I had to learn how to put him to sleep and what works best for him and all of those things. And that was an insane journey. He was also the most fussy at week 3, we noticed. And around week 3-4 is when, like, the hormones really started to hit me. And they say, like, after birth you have, like, your biggest, like, hormone drop or hormone dip or whatever it is. And I wouldn't say that I had baby blues or PPD or PPA or any of those things. But I mean, you're definitely gonna like cry and all that stuff. But yeah, week 3 he was super fussy, and then week 4, so like the first month, it's just a wild ride because you're trying to get to know your newborn, and while also at the same time trying to like navigate your body and like your sore and like all those things, which if you guys didn't watch my birth vlog or my like birth story video, I just talk about how labor went. I labored for a little bit over 12 hours, not too long. And it's expected, like with your first labor, that it's gonna be a long labor, just because your body's like getting used to it. But it was a very easy labor and delivery, and I only had, I think, 1 or 2 second-degree tears, but they were very, like, minimal, and yeah, so you're just really sore, and everything is happening all at once. I think my milk came in around day 3, so the day after we got home from the hospital is when my milk came in. And I was able to learn how to navigate that, which was insane. Because there's just so many things that you have to think about. And it can feel overwhelming at times, because like I would search on TikTok, I would be like, how to know my baby's sleepy cues, how to know when my baby's hungry, like all of those things, because I felt sometimes like I was getting like mixed signals from my baby, and it was difficult to tell like if he was hungry or if he was sleepy or whatever it was. And I would say like the first month or so is definitely the hardest, because like even though you've been growing this baby in your belly for like 9 months, you're still kind of like, okay, like, who are you? What do you need? Like, you know, and it's just really hard. And then I want to say around week 4 or 5, my husband, which I did a vlog when he was gone, which I believe I uploaded, but he was gone for a week, and that was really, really, really hard. It was very hard, and I learned the hard way the importance of asking for help when you need it and not being afraid to ask for help. I sometimes I'm of the wrong mentality that like I need to do everything myself, otherwise I'm not successful. And that's just pride. It really is. But yeah, I had to ask for help, and I remember it was like the last day that Gentry was gonna be gone, and I had to ask my sister, I'm like, hey, like, I didn't explicitly ask for help, but I was telling her about my week and everything, and she was like, do you want me to come over? Because the week had been crazy. When you're on your own with a newborn that you're trying to figure out, it's hard because you never get a break. Like when my husband's home, I can let him feed my baby if I want him to, or I can be like, hey, like, I'm gonna go do this, watch him for 2 hours, or watch him for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is. And when your spouse or whoever's with you is not there, you don't get that break, and so it's really hard just mentally and emotionally. And so I felt like I was doing that 5 days out of the week, 24/7, and it is so exhausting. And so I learned the importance that week of being like, hey, can you come over and like hold him for a few minutes, or feed him while I shower and eat. And as silly as it sounds, honestly, it's so needed. It just sounds silly, but it is extraordinarily needed when you have a newborn, to just be like, hey, I need a shower, or hey, like I need to eat food, because your milk supply is so important to where you need to be eating 3 meals a day, regardless of if you feel like it or not, or even just drinking water. And like something else I learned within like the first few weeks is how amazing walks are. I used to not be a walk person. I didn't like being like, hey, like, let's go for a walk, let's go outside and go for a walk. But if you're anything like me, then walks are going to be so crucial to your mental health and just feeling like a sane person and all, because a lot of the time, like the first few weeks after giving birth, you don't want to go anywhere, you don't want to have anyone come over because, you know, you're freshly postpartum, you're trying to figure out your baby. But just being able to go for a walk is amazing, because majority of the time your baby will fall right asleep and you can have some peace and quiet for maybe 30 minutes before heading back home into the sometimes what feels like chaos. And so that was very crucial. Now my little son Gentry David is getting to the point where he doesn't automatically go to sleep on walks anymore. Like, he'll stay up and like look around for maybe like 10-15 minutes and then he'll sleep. But yeah, typically like the first few weeks they'll just fall right asleep, which is so nice. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Also, in the first month of having our son, we found out that he may have a milk allergy or milk sensitivity, like cow's milk. So within the last 2 weeks, I have been my mug is really sticky right now. I have been cutting out dairy, and I've actually noticed a significant difference in just who he is when I cut out dairy. When I was eating dairy, he was just super fussy after every feeding, and I just thought like, oh, this is normal, like this will go away as he gets older. Turns out it was not normal. We went to our 1-month appointment and the doctor asked me about a rash and a bloated stomach, and honestly I did not notice it. I thought the rash was like baby acne, because I knew that they got baby acne. I didn't know how long it lasted, but I know that majority of babies get baby acne. And I just thought his stomach like looked normal. Like, I thought that was like what his stomach looked like. Turns out it was a milk allergy. And so I've been cutting out dairy out of my diet, because personally, like, I want to be able to breastfeed as long as I can, preferably up to 6 months. If my milk lasts that long, I know so many women are so different. Like, some women, their milk dries up really fast, and so they have to start on formula. Other women, their milk literally lasts a year, if not longer. Yeah, so we're working through that. And so I wanted to breastfeed, so I'm like, okay, I guess we're cutting out dairy, which I know that some babies like are only allergic for like 6 months, and then around the 6-month mark, moms can like reintroduce milk into the diet and they're no longer allergic to it. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers hoping that's it, but if it's not, it's okay. Honestly, I love my oat milk. Plus, oat milk's really good for your breast milk supply. But yeah, that's how the last like month had been. And then now I've been back to work for 2 weeks now, which is insane. And it is difficult. It really is. So my husband and I decided we don't want to put our son in daycare yet. It's not like we're never putting him in a daycare or anything like that, but we just want to wait till he's a little bit older, and I'd preferably like to wait till like the fall when he's like 4 or 5 months old. And so I've been bringing my son along with me, which, if you guys don't know, I am a part-time staff member at my church. I work in the kids ministry, and so the awesome thing about our church is that they allow us to bring our kids with us, and I think that's very beautiful, but it's also really hard. And it's difficult because, you know, you're working with feedings and wake times and like times when he's supposed to take a nap, and sometimes he'll only take a nap on you, and it's just it can be very difficult, and that's the season I'm in right now, where I see the beauty of daycare and having someone watch him, but at the same time struggling with the conflict of he's still too young. And yeah, so there's just a lot going on there. So like in between naps, I try and like fit as much stuff as I can, because every nap is so different. Like sometimes he'll nap for like an hour, hour and a half, no problem, like not even mind. And like I will be able to get a whole bunch of stuff done. Other times he'll only nap for like 30 minutes and then wake back up, and then it takes another 20 minutes to put him back to sleep. And I think in those moments it's a lot harder to navigate, because it means that work is really broken up. And preferably I'm the person that I like to sit down and like get all my tasks done as quickly and as effectively as possible. But it is really hard to do that with a newborn. And so my work has been broken up into different sections throughout the day. Like I will get maybe an hour done in the morning and mid-afternoon and then night or whatever it is. So it's never like I get all my work done within like 3 or 4 hours and then I can go home and relax. Which that's what it used to be like pre-baby. But that's something that I'm having to work through right now. So yeah. And then also in this stage of life, I'm trying to figure out my breast milk supply as well. When Gentry was gone for that week, I experienced a dip in my supply, understandably so, because I was not taking care of myself. And I'm trying to work that back up. I used to have a huge stash, or what felt like a huge stash of milk in my freezer, and then during that week and finding out my son has a sensitivity to milk, I ended up throwing out some of the milk and then using up a lot of it. Because of that, I don't have a stash anymore, and so every day when I pump, I'm literally just pumping for the next day, which is really, really hard, because it means I have to be super diligent every single day to pump at least at least 18 ounces of milk a day. So I've been trying to slowly work my supply back up, which it's been doing really good recently. Literally just a few days ago, I was only pumping about 10 ounces a day. Now I'm pumping enough for 3 or 4 bottles a day, so that would be about 23 ounces ish, kind of. And I can do a whole video on my pumping routine too, but typically what I will do is I give them 3 bottles a day, 2 at work when I'm at work, and then 1 right before bed. And then when I give him a bottle, I will pump either right after, right before, or like during his bottle feed. So that way, like, if I don't pump, then my body is like, oh, like I don't need to produce milk. And so I will pump when I bottle feed him to let my body know, like, no, you still need to produce milk. Like, please don't stop, pretty much. And so I've been doing that. I've also sometimes I will pump one side and feed on the other. He does have a side preference of like which side he prefers to feed on. So I will pump the other side while he feeds on one side. And then sometimes, depending on the day, I will pump after a feed, which I'll do that typically in the morning, because the morning is when you have the most milk, you're most full, all of that stuff. And so I will pump 10-15 minutes after he's fed, and then I'll pump for about 15 minutes. And I just did that just now, and I got probably 6 ounces, which is really good compared to what I've gotten in the past. So we're working that supply up, and there's so many things to do to work your supply up. I didn't even realize, like, I've been doing so many things. I've been drinking water, drinking body armors. I have been taking a milk supply supplement. It's like the legendary milk supplement that I've been taking. One day I took a spoonful of coconut oil because I read on the internet that it can boost your supply like immediately. Don't know if that was the culprit. Honestly, I just think having a steady diet where you're eating 3 meals a day plus snacks and drinking lots of water and fluids has been like the biggest thing that has helped my supply over like everything else, and sticking with the pumping routine as well. So yeah, but there's just so much. I know this video is super long and I apologize, but there is literally so many things within the first, I don't even want to say first 6 or first 8 weeks, because you're, regardless of what stage you are at in motherhood, you are always learning something new. You are always learning about yourself, about your baby. Like, it's not just in the first 6 to 8 weeks that you're like, oh, like, yes, you get to know your baby better to where you know their cues and all of that stuff, but they're still growing, they're still learning, and so you're still growing and you're still learning. Heck, like right now, Gentry David is in a phase where like he's awake a lot longer now, to where like if I don't entertain him long enough, he'll sleep for 30 minutes and wake up because he wasn't really tired to begin with, if that makes sense. Because I didn't like do different activities and stuff. So I'm currently in this stage where I'm like trying to find different activities for him to do. Right now it's literally just contrast cards, tummy time, playing on the gym mat, talking. I say talking, but like just talking to him, and all of those things. I just ordered, I'm really excited, it's coming today. I just ordered this play mat. It's like for babies that like to kick around and stuff. Basically, it's by Fisher Price, I believe. There's a piano at the end of it, and there's like a little arch. It's like a play gym mat. But then when they kick the piano and it plays music. And my son kicks his feet so much. He has such strong long legs that kick. And so I'm hoping that he really enjoys that. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be sad because that was like $40. But yeah, so you're just constantly in a new phase, and I'm excited for the next stage. Like I remember a few weeks back like telling some of my friends like I feel bad wishing the newborn stage away, but like I can't wait till he can sustain, like just be content longer, because if you're about to be a new mom or are a new mom or whatever it is, like you know that like newborn stage is hard because they need you 24, I mean no matter what, they need you 24/7, but they need you 24/7. You're constantly on a 2 to 3 hour clock, and sometimes even not even that, especially if your newborn's cluster feeding, like you're feeding them every 30 minutes or every hour or whatever it is, and they're not able to just like play on a play mat or just do tummy time or whatever it is while you go do stuff for like 30 minutes to an hour. They're in a phase where they need your attention all the time, and it's hard. It really is hard. So my heart goes out to all of you moms who are in that stage, because I am too, and I'm still learning and I'm still growing. But yeah, that's how life has been so far. That's what we have been up to. I can't believe it's been 2 months already. Like, he's technically no longer newborn. He's technically like an infant slash baby now. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was super long, but I just wanted to give you guys an update as to how the last 2 months have gone. The things that I've learned, what it's like being a mom to a newborn, and all of that stuff. So I will see you guys later. Bye.